Hello, book people. PT here. I want to talk today about a comic book, a sci-fi comic book, Divinity, which was written by Matt Kindt, art by Trevor Hairsine, and it's published by Valiant, one of my favorite publishers. If you're not reading Valiant stuff, definitely check a few things out. They put out a lot of good stuff. Divinity, if you've been watching me for a long time, you know I'm a big Matt Kindt fan. I love his mind management and preach about it too. Everyone who will listen, it's one of my favorite comics of recent years, so I was excited about him kind of joining up with one of my favorite comic book companies. So the story of Divinity is basically back in the 1960s. In the story, Russia was desperate to get a win in the space race program after losing the race to be the first to the moon. So they decide to take on this really uh, extreme mission where they're going to send someone out into the farthest reaches of space, farther than anyone's gone before, farther than we assumed anyone would go for a long time. So they send up a cosmonaut, and the story is kind of about that guy because he, in modern times, just suddenly returns in the Australian outback. It appears to not have aged and appears to have very strange powers. He also is kind of like something's going on with him mentally along with these powers. He basically wants to help everyone, but he has some strange ways of doing it. Like the first people who approach him, he kind of looks inside them and sees like what would make them the most happy, and so he turns one of the guys into a flock of butterflies because he's like that's how he would be most happy. He brings another one of the guy's family to be with him right then because he knows his family would make him the happiest. So some strange things going on with these insane powers that don't seem to really have much or any limits. And as the story goes on, we kind of piece together what happened in his past, what happened on the mission, and kind of what he's going to do now that he has these powers. It's not like a traditional superhero story. He's not using these powers to like fight bad guys by any means or anything like that. Although there is a portion of the story where a bunch of the other Valiant heroes come in to kind of try and approach him and contain him. So I don't really think you have to know too much about the Valiant universe for that to all make sense, but just be aware that that is in there. I'll also say it's not an especially plot heavy book. It's very character focused. It's really all about this guy and what he went through and kind of trying to understand him and where he's at and how, as he comes to grips with what happened and with his these newfound crazy powers. So that's Divinity. It's different than anything I've ever read. It's a cool concept. It's like a lot of the things Matt Kind does. It's like a very mind-bogglingly big and thought-provoking ideas. So if you're looking for a great idea-driven science fiction character study, basically, I recommend checking out Divinity. Divinity 2 is also just being released now, I believe. So I'm looking forward to getting that. But if you've read Divinity, let me know what you thought of it. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.